But I think we can agree. I mean, we talked about it a little bit off air and on the podcast. Like race number 2 and the races combined at for NASCAR on the road course, I think are very successful. I mean, I think this is a much better alternative to the product we had, when it was on the oval. I mean, of course, like you mentioned, maybe with the newer cars, you could try it on the oval and see how it goes, and maybe get some tests in, see if the racing is any better, or maybe I don't know how you would do that in terms of seeing.
Well, good news for you.
Okay.
Roger Penske did announce over the weekend that yes, they are returning to the road course in 2023. However, in 2024, they are going back to the oval, and I believe he also said 2025 as well. Beyond 2025, they are going to look at alternating every other year, either being a road course race or an oval race. Honestly, based on the other announcement from over the weekend at IMS, where IMSA announced they are returning and they're going to be allowing camping in the infield for fans and gradually building up to a long endurance race, my guess would be at some point there is going to be lights on the road course for a 24-hour endurance race with IMSA. I wouldn't be surprised to see NASCAR on the road course at night. Now, is there going to be lights on the oval? I don't know. I mean, if there would be, that'd be a great move as well. But I would like to see the NASCAR, like the Verizon 200 or wherever it is in the future, on the road course at night. I think that'd be a really cool setup and something that NASCAR fans would be really drawn to. But that's that's neither here nor there. I think that could be setting up for some options, at least with IndyCar. But yes, they are going to bring back the oval, and they are going to try to keep the road course as well. Honestly, if both go well, I wouldn't mind seeing NASCAR come here twice. Once for the road course and once for the oval. We got enough prestige here that if you want to come to someplace twice and get 2 different scenarios, this is it. This is a great opportunity for that. I mean, you were going to Daytona 3 times and it worked. It was great. I wish they would still do the Daytona road course, but you go to Charlotte twice. You go to Charlotte more than twice, I think. I think you're there 3 times. Because you do the Roval.
Oh yeah, I get. Well, no, do you do the Roval instead of the fall race?
Oh yeah, so maybe probably, they are there twice. See, it works for Charlotte.
Yeah.
So why not try that same scenario here in Indy as well? I think that could be an option in the future. But yes, they have announced that they're going to do both, alternating years. But I could see it if it's a success on both. I could see Roger Penske trying to push for being on the calendar twice. But yeah, I'm okay with it going back to seeing what the oval has with these cars. Of course, by the time they get there, who knows if Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick will even be racing still. But yeah,
I mean, it's tough because I don't like the alternating thing is kind of weird. I mean, I guess if they do that, fine. I don't think it's gonna do any necessarily any harm, but I'd almost rather see them do the same, like go to Indy twice in the same season, like maybe like
I think that's what Roger Penske's setting
right. But I mean, I'd rather see them do it initially as opposed to alternating every year because okay, so you start alternating it. What if that first race back on the oval is still a dud? Well, then that's
why they're doing it. They're going to do it 2 years in a row on the oval before starting to go alternating.
See, I don't like. I'd rather them do road course and oval in the same season and compare the two. I mean, I know the NASCAR schedule isn't there just to appease Indianapolis and figure out what we want to do, but at the same time, I think from a fan perspective, I would rather not have if the road course is doing really well, okay, so that'll be 4 years of the road course. If it's done really well and fans are really invested and excited about it again, then I don't want the snooze fest. If the snooze fest 400 is going to come back for 2 years, I mean, does that then, if the racing is still bad, does that get people disinterested in the road course? Because they're just gonna. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out.
I don't think so. I think it would probably get people more interested in the road course, and then they can say, "Look, the racing still sucks on the oval. These cars aren't built for this oval anymore. We're sticking with the road course, and then we can look at other options with it, like maybe we put it at night, those types of different things." But I am okay with them doing 2 years of the oval to see, give it its fair shake again. And if the racing's really good, then I think Roger Penske has a case on his hands. Like, hey, look, we put on a good show here for the road course. We put on a good show here for the oval. Let's bump off one of these tracks that's not bringing people in.
Kansas, or Kansas hate.
More Kansas. Let's look at bringing them here twice. So you have something different, and you also have the prestige, but it's still Indianapolis. It's the racing capital of the world. Yeah, it's not the NASCAR racing capital of the country, but it's still, it's Indianapolis. It has meaning to everybody. So if you can get them here twice, guess what? The fans are going to show up regardless. But if it's bad, if the racing isn't good on the oval, I can see them ditching the oval altogether and saying, look, we're just going to stick with the road course.
Yeah.
Forget alternating years. This is a business we got to run, and we're entertainment. We are still entertainment regardless. And if we can't put on a good show on the oval, it's done. And we're sticking with the road course where it's entertaining. People like it. It's a good race. Yeah, the drivers may not like it, but guess what? You still got to race it, and you guys all put on a good race. You guys race each other hard. It's like right now, it's the two people that are crying the most about it are the ones that aren't competing very well aren't really good road course racers, and used to dominate on the oval. They would run away and not have to worry about anybody. So I don't want to hear that moaning and crying when it's pretty obvious why you are saying that. Now, yeah, I would like to see what these new cars, this next gen car looks like on the oval, because we have seen it make other races like Michigan more entertaining as well. It's it tightens the pack up a little bit more. So I'm okay with testing it out. If it works, let Roger Penske work his magic and get them here twice. If it doesn't work, just stick with the road course. We know that works.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Now I'm interested to see when you would have that second, or would you dare put that second NASCAR date anywhere near the month of May, like June, no. Like the first weekend October. In June or
October?
Yeah. I could see October.
Early October.
I mean, but then you run the issue of potentially the weather unless you put the road course in October.
Yeah, but
remember when the USGP used to be in September and you would have like every other year be crappy weather?
Yeah, I mean, if IMSA's taking September, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, maybe you come in June for the road course or the oval, late June or mid-June, and then come back in July for the next race. Or if it's good enough racing, look at putting it in the playoffs. I mean, that's a push. That's a huge stretch. So I think like a June and July, or heck,
although I mean
April.
I don't know what races are in the. I know some of them. I know Talladega is in the.
I know some drivers would love to lose Talladega in the playoffs.
that I mean that's true, but I was like,
that's such a crap shoot.
It would be really cool though if you could get like some of the more prestigious tracks in the playoff. Like if you're like, okay, we're gonna go to, because they do.
Well, they tried that with Indy for 1 year. We were the last track before the playoffs started. We were the cutoff for guys to make the playoffs. That was like their last ditch effort on the oval, and the weather was pretty good. I remember that was the one I was at. Kevin Harvick drove away with it. The weather was pretty good for that one. I think that was in September. So, I mean, you could, you honestly, if you could bring IMSA in for the road course in September, and then a week or two later, you could bring NASCAR in for a race on the oval. I mean, you're able to switch that track over a course of a few days. There's no reason you can't, over a couple weeks, get things ready.
I'm just saying it would be cool in general to just have a race like I don't they already moved Daytona off July 4th, so like maybe switch out the second Talladega race, put the second Daytona race in there, put have your most iconic tracks in the postseason. I would much rather have that than I don't know. I mean, I know they go on the Roval, like I said.
But
I know there's some other tracks.
Indy really one of the most iconic tracks for NASCAR?
I mean, I would say it's up there. I don't know.
Outside of the state of Indiana for racing, does everybody else view IMS as one of the most iconic tracks for NASCAR?
Yeah, IndyCar, so. It's still. I mean, you see the drivers. I mean, it still means something for them to win.
Oh yeah,
in Indy. But so I that's what I'm saying. I mean,
it was always a big deal for the driver if a driver won both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400.
Right.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good debate, and it's a good thing to think about. I wouldn't push if you're going to push for Indy being on the schedule twice potentially. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't push it to try to get it into the playoffs. But first things first, if the oval works, let's push for twice on the schedule. And then if that really performs well long term, then maybe push for a spot in the playoffs. Who knows? But I can tell you that having Doug Bowles and Roger Penske at the helm of that ship, there is endless possibilities with them.
See, because so I got the playoffs schedule pulled up. Round of 16, as it stands right now, is Darlington, Kansas, Bristol. Then round of 12,
Kansas.
Right? I knew you were going to say that one.
Kansas.
There you go. Kansas. You dropped them out of there. Round of 12 is Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, Roval. And then round of 8, Las Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, and then the championship race is Phoenix. I mean, when I look
how many road course races were on there?
There's just the one, the Roval, yeah.
Why not have two?
Yeah.
Why not dump Kansas?
We brought up last week about having another road course.
Put the IMS road course in place of Kansas.
Yeah.
And then do the oval, do the Brickyard 400 in last weekend of July.
Yeah, take away Gateway's race, bro. I don't. Kansas has 2 races. Take them both away. Just full on. I know. I'm just joking.
Because you need that.
But why do we? I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess I don't pay enough attention to really weigh in completely. But can we get rid of? We don't need 2 races at Phoenix. We don't need 2 races at Las Vegas.
Oh, Phoenix is entertaining though. They reconfigured that track, and it's a good race.
That is true. I do like. It's really weird how they reconfigured it. It always confuses me when I watch it. But
my buddy he's actually been out there for one of the Phoenix races, but even I think it was after they reconfigured. He said it's a great track. He even said that would be the one I would want IndyCar.
And I mean, you already have iconic tracks in the playoff as it stands. I mean, Darlington, that's iconic for NASCAR. Bristol, that's iconic for NASCAR. Martinsville, that's iconic. Talladega, even if they hate it, that's iconic. Charlotte, that's I
don't think they hate it, but I think it would be a sigh of relief to not have Talladega in the playoffs, especially being a cutoff race.
But Homestead is for instance, Homestead's on there. Homestead's only iconic because for the longest time it was the last race of the year. And it was kind of the end point. I think now that it's not, you're just kind of meh on that. Heck, I could see them, if they're trying to do more street races, doing the street Formula 1 race at Miami rather than Homestead.
The Formula 1, I didn't really like that one.
Really? I didn't.
So
interesting. I don't know. I guess I'm not a big fan of 2 Las Vegas races. Las Vegas is iconic, but I wouldn't say more iconic than Indy in terms of NASCAR terms. I think
but Las Vegas is better suited for those cars anyways. Mm-hmm. So keep it.
So yeah, you definitely.
All right, but Las Vegas brings in the people still,
right? I was looking at terms of iconic tracks in NASCAR. So like you already kind of have that vibe anyway, so it'd be cool to add Indy to that mix.
That's why you dump Kansas in the playoffs.
With so much Kansas
problem
hate.
solved. Problem solved.
Why do we have 2 races? Come on. All right, moving on to
hey, at Bob Pockras, why do we have 2 races at Kansas?
Can we get rid of?
Can you
Kansas?
explain the logic behind that one? Like,
I mean,
I guess what else is out there to replace it with right now? Well, let's see if the oval here in Indy works out. If it works out, bye Kansas. Hello, second race in Indy. I mean, and I guess it's also a shameless plug for me because I'm like, look, another race at Indy is great because it's another weekend out at the track, and I love going out to the track. I mean, look, I was just out there all weekend this past weekend, and I'm going again this Thursday night for the dirt track race in Turn 3. I just love being out there. So any opportunity, and I think that's the thing. That's what's great about Roger Penske and Doug Bowles being at the helm of that operation over there is, obviously Roger Penske owns it and Doug Bowles is the president, but both of them want people there more. They want more events there. They want it to be a place where people come to again. I'm all for it. So like I keep saying, if the oval works out, let's get them on the schedule twice.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it means that, if you want to keep Kansas in the playoffs and put us in a place of Kansas in the regular season, that's fine. I don't care. Just get us on the schedule twice if it works. If the oval works, that's the big if. I'm not gonna push it if it's a dud of a couple races, but if it works and it's an entertaining race, then yes. If it's not Kansas, you have nothing to worry about.
Throw out the last 10 minutes of what we said if the race still stinks on the oval.